My name is Jim Cadwallader.
Yeah.
I'm a non-executive director for a community project called Tranmere Tunnels Volunteers Limited.
Yeah.
Tranmere Tunnels were built for the works of the family of Camelair during World War II. After 1943 they were hardly used. And it's a real feat of engineering what went on to build these tunnels. They blasted them out with dynamite. And if you can imagine,
Yeah.
German bombers coming over, dropping bombs, and you're inside the tunnels while they're using dynamite. Think about it. So you get hammered all sides, aren't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm recruiting at the moment for non-executive directors to become volunteers, to become a part of the project for the people of Birkenhead, Merseyside, and beyond. And this is what we want. In 2014, we got £10,000 off the Heritage Lottery Fund to do a one-day survey with our project manager.
Yeah.
He's an accredited conservation structural engineer from Blackett Ord at Ian Weir. Great guy. And this guy here is David Liggins. Sadly, he died last year because he was a non-executive director. But we started this project, and it took us 5 years to sort out the ownership. The ownership was a battle. It really was a battle. At the end of the day, I had to work with the Ministry of Justice and the Cabinet's Office to sort out the ownership, because the Wirral Council did want to know. But now we're there now, because the Wirral Council they've got qualified title. We're working with the council. They pay for all this, or everything what we see here today. So yeah, we want to open them up as a tourist attraction, but that's going to take a couple of years. We've got to resurvey it. We did a pre-survey in 2014, but now we've got to go back in and survey the whole lot as well. It's a massive area. It's a huge area.
Yeah,
it's huge.
even from the map that we have down here.
Yeah, and we've got directors on board now. Some are going to be volunteers, some will have roles to do. There'll be a chair, vice chair, secretary, etc, etc, etc. We have an accountant, so all the mechanisms are there. We've got ward councillors supporting us, the Wirral Council now are supporting us. So tourism, it's all to do with tourism. And if you want to be a tour guide, you've got to do confined space training. I will not let anybody in those tunnels if they're not confined space trained, because it's pitch black down there. It's massive, and there was all sorts down there at one time. There was toilets, male and female, which are still there. There was a canteen. There was warders post, first aid post, bunks, beds, seats, Belfast sinks, which some of them are still down there. The toilets are still down there, and they weren't taken to Woodchurch Estate. We blew that myth out the water when we went in there and found the toilets. So what a community project. And my ambition is to get it open, have loads of young people between the 18 and 25 or a bit beyond to be trained in confined space laws, so they can be tour guides, so they can learn about the Tranmere tunnels, what were they used for, who built them. The people who built them was Lehane, Mackenzie and Shand. They built the tunnels because they built dams and roads and bridges during the war effort, I believe. But actually working with the Ministry of Justice and the Cabinet Office, I've never done that before. That is something new. I had to learn to do that. But we're there now.
But basically on that day, didn't they just unbrick it, go in, do the survey, come out and brick it up again?
Yes, that's what we did. That's what we did.
All in one day?
Yes, it was a one day. We went in the tunnel, went in the tunnels, on a licence from the council.
Yeah.
And they're saying we shouldn't have given you the licence because we don't own them. And one of the directors said, we've got no deeds, Jim. Deeds weren't issued when the government wanted something. If the government wanted something, they'll just take it over. At the end of the war, what we thought, there's the Critchell Down rules, meaning that at the end of the war, the government's supposed to give all your fields back to the people it belong to, all the buildings back. And we thought this came under the Critchell Down rules. I think Critchell Down is a place down the southwest, I think, because this woman took the government to court and said, we want our farms back, we want our buildings back. This is the Critchell Down rules. What's going on? We're supposed to give it all back. So we thought these tunnels came under that rule, but it didn't. It was all to do in October 1955.
55, right?
The government went to Tranmere and purchased each section of tunnel under the houses.
Okay.
Right, and they all got 50, 60 quid each. One guy got £200, but he cleared off after he got £200 in 1955. What a lot of money, eh?
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
So that all happened. That is a conveyance document. They all had to sign one to get that money, right? Then what I did find out, after we had this big discussion with the council who didn't own it, I went to the archives. And I was given this document, dated March 1980, proving that the government sold the tunnels, the two quarries, the cliff face and the entrances to the council for £3,500. My knowledge, using taxpayers' money. It's because the money had to come from somewhere, so it was taxpayers' money, ratepayers' money, I would say. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Wirral people own the tunnels, but the council, in my knowledge, they're like caretakers. And I'm not going to let anybody in until the surveys are done, the reports are written, repair works completed, and people trained in confined space laws to be tour guides. If you want to be a tour guide, you've got to do confined space training. Cameleers were quite shocked when I went to see him and explained to them about the tunnels and what have you. They were, really? I said, yeah, these were built for the works, the family of Cameleers.
There were 4 Cameleers workers, weren't they?
Yeah,
to
that's
run
right.
to in terms of... Yeah.
I am convinced that the majority of the people who were in there were women. They were men, but I think all the men were being trained up to go and fight the Nazis. So therefore, they were training the men were training the women up to be riveters, platers, boiler makers, submarine makers, battleship makers, surface vessel makers. And I'm not saying that's 100% true, but I'm convinced that that was part of what happened about Cameleers, because all the men were being trained up to go and fight the Nazis.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? I saw a picture earlier, and the guy said that you found a shaft going up.
Yeah.
And you don't know where it comes out at the top?
We do.
Oh, you do now, yeah?
We do, but it's all been sealed off.
Yeah.
Because there's been a load of new bungalows built.
Okay.
On top. A lot of houses have been demolished.
Yeah.
But there is still houses there from the 40s and beyond, before the 40s.
Yeah.
So, where are we up to now? Well, we've formed a committee. We've got the directors on board. And that's where we're up to.
Yeah.
But we have the full support of the council now. The ward councillors, the heritage officers, they're on board.
What's a very rough timeline for going forward then, for different things to happen? And
I keep saying you've got to give us at least 2 years.
Yeah.
It could be longer.
Yeah.
But it is a situation where people want them open now.
Yeah.
This is only my second attempt doing this. But I have been touring the Wirral with all this stuff. We've got a project manager, Ian Weir, who's I call him the boss, because only he can, because he's got all this team, he's got a team what could do all the surveys, etc, etc. I can't do the surveys because the council won't let me, so see this guy here, Jerry Williams, he supports the project. So there's a gang of people now supporting the project from the council.
But the council support it massively from a tourist point of view as well.
Sorry?
But the council support it massively from a tourist point of view.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
They have to, because I started this project with a gang of friends called the Friends of Tranmere Tunnels in 2003.
Yeah.
But the council weren't interested. They just didn't want to know.
Yeah.
So I went back into my music. But people telling me, Jimmy, there's a big tourist thing now about the Wirral. The government's coming on board. We've got to get these tunnels open. So me and my mate, Dave Liggins here, we formed the Tranmere Tunnels volunteers.
Yeah.
So and this is...
So people can get on board as well, isn't it?
Sorry?
And another point as well is, I mean, nationally, things like the secret nuclear bunkers that are open tourist attractions are very, very popular.
Oh, yeah.
So this is just as, has the potential to be just as popular.
Well, the strange thing is, I had a phone call from a guy from Kent on Friday evening, and he was trying to give me advice, and I told him what we were doing and how we were doing it and how long we've been doing it, and he said, wow, you really have pushed on. I said, yeah, because he's from the Short tunnels. The Short factory made the aeroplanes.
Okay, yeah.
Was it Lincoln Bomber? Did they build the Lincoln Bomber? We built the Short planes, the fighters.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I remember the other short. I remember the Isle of Man planes were shorts.
Yeah.
Short 360 little Isle of Man plane.
Yeah, that's right. So we are cracking on with it, and we've been at this since 2014.
Yeah.
And the ownership issue now is resolved.
Yeah.
The council have qualified title.
Yeah.
To me, it means you're qualified to say you own the tunnels. But the government could come back and take the tunnels off the council if something happens.
Yeah.
The way Putin is at the moment.
Yeah.
Well,
so
it's been a long, hard, drawn-out battle, but we're there now. We're there. We've solved it, and is Jerry Williams the heritage guy?
Yeah.
So that's it.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, brilliant.
Take care.